Hospitality industry is one of, the industry that depends on, the availability of leisure time and, of course, the disposable income and the customer satisfaction. And basically that is what we are going to be talking about today, dealing on matters of hospitality, and we have a trainer who is here with us in the studio. But before we get to talk about that, good morning. Trusting that you're having yourself a lovely Monday morning. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Entrepreneur Pitch right here on a Money Monday. So when I talk about Money Monday, I'm basically meaning that the entire day we shall be educating you on matters business. So we go out on the streets and we have a show known as Hustle Mtaani, so please check out for that. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a guest with us in the studio. Karibu sana.
Asante.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine also. Before you get to introduce yourself, tell us what is the current state of the hospitality industry as per now in Kenya, as you get to introduce yourself.
First of all, thank you for having me. For starters, given the COVID-19 pandemic, the sector is not so well, in terms of if we compare it to how it used to be like maybe 10 years ago. Yeah. But I believe we'll get to where we were, or better still, do more than what we used to do before the COVID-19 struck. Yeah.
So introduce yourself, what you do.
My name is Juma Igams. I am a trainer or lecturer in the hospitality department of Uzuri Institute, that is in Thika.
Yeah. So when we talk about hospitality industry, basically people think that we're talking only about the hotels and everything. But I believe that the hospitality industry has bold, categories of, things that like opportunities of jobs. So what are some of the opportunities that are found in the hospitality industry? Yeah,
that is a very important point to note actually, because in many times you find people, just focusing on hotels whenever they talk about the hospitality industry. But then I think this particular industry is very diverse in ways of offering so many job opportunities. Like, for example, you can be a lecturer, for instance, you can be a trainer, or someone that is tutoring other people in this particular industry. You can work in the hotel, like we're saying. You can work in the tourism sector, because for you to be there, you're serving customers, you're serving tourists, and you must have knowledge on hospitality, because hospitality per se is making people feel welcome, even when they're not at their comfort in terms of homes. Yeah. So lazima, it's a must for you to have what we call that welcoming spirit, that spirit of making someone feel at home, even when they're miles away from home. Yeah. So you can work in that particular industry. You can also work in in the aeroplanes, for example, the air hostesses. You can work in government institutions where you need to serve people. So basically, the hospitality industry is very diverse in terms of the job opportunities it offers. So it's a very diverse industry.
Yeah. So when we talk about hospitality industry, I feel like there's so much demand in the market. So you'll find out maybe in an organization, in a hotel, there is even the staff, they even multitask. And one of the issues, one of the hugest issues in hospitality industry is, the staff turnovers and everything. So as a business owner, for example, you own a hotel, what are some of the measures that you should put in place in order for you to run a business smoothly and keep it afloat, regardless of all these challenges that they face?
Well, since we are talking about the hospitality industry in terms of a business, first of all, you must have a good plan of what exactly you want to achieve, whether short plan or long term. You need to project what exactly you have in terms of plan, and of course, you need to have in place the right people to ensure that you execute whatever plans you have, and of course get to where you want to get in a few years or whichever timeline you have set for yourself. So basically, it is very important that you as a manager or the owner of that particular business or establishment, you look at what exactly you want to achieve at the end of a given period, and of course make sure you have the right people to enable you achieve that. And it's very important to also ensure that you have the right knowledge pertaining to this particular industry, because otherwise you'll get people who will play you because clearly you don't know what you're doing, and they'll take advantage of that, and of course you may end up closing business. So it's important for you to at least have some knowledge on this particular industry, and of course give yourself time. Patience is very important, especially for new businesses, and with time, you'll get to where you want to get.
Yeah, so there is always change of need in the society, and I feel like customers sometimes demand some unique sort of, products or services to when they go to a hotel, because clearly if I want to eat food, I can cook them at my own place. But when I go to a hotel, I need, a very conducive environment. So what are some of the things that, these business owners should look up for so that they can, satisfy the customers' needs?
First of all, the most important thing they should do is look for uniqueness. They should be unique in terms of they should not just offer things other businesses are offering. You should make me feel like as a customer, I should feel like when I come to your restaurant or establishment or business, I'm getting something that I will not get elsewhere. And this something, by the way, it's not only a matter of food or drinks. It can be your service. It can be how you treat your customers. So basically, you look at what exactly can I do that other people are not doing. So you need to have that added advantage of you're doing something extra, something better than your competitors. Of course, you need to consider your competitors, because otherwise you cannot be in business in a competition alone. You need to look at what are the other people doing around me, and what can I do better to get, or better still to keep my customers, because customer loyalty is very important. It is better to keep that one customer than to keep on looking for 2 or 10 more, because this one customer, through word of mouth, can spread and say how good your restaurant is or how bad your restaurant is, and you may either, on a positive note, get better new or rather many customers, or even on a negative note, you may end up not getting.
Or products that you give to your clients?
So I'll use a very good example before I get into the importance of consistency. Look at hotels let me talk about the chain hotels. Like for example, Kempinski Hotel. That is a very good example of a chain hotel that is not only operational in Kenya. Establishment whereby consistency is key, be it January or December. They are very consistent in time. Chicken and chips or fries at KFC last week. Am I going to get the same product today? That is what customers are looking for. And if you do not offer consistency, customers tend to look for other places where they'll get that, because we have so many other places where people can get consistency. So as a business operator, it is important that you keep consistency and uniqueness as a very main part of your business, because they'll always make sure that you can prevail in terms of whatever you're doing.
And speaking of that, when you give, when you get to be consistent on what you're giving, you even tend to get this thing we call the referrals and more customers and clients. What are some of the dangers of not being consistent in terms of using that as a marketing tool to your hotel?
Well, the major danger there is you'll end up losing customers, because we have customers who are very particular, very specific in terms of what they want. And if they come to your establishment today, they'll come tomorrow expecting the same exact thing they got yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the bigger danger there is you'll end up losing your loyal customers. And by the way, maintaining loyal customers is very important. And if you end up losing your loyal customers, it's like you're starting over again, which is a very long and tedious process.
Yes, advertising and everything.
Absolutely. So part of marketing is in maintaining your loyal customers. And of course, in maintaining your loyal customers, you end up getting other new customers. And of course, due to consistency, you're able to run your business on and on without any inches or any particular troubles at all.
Yeah. So I also believe that service consistency is very important, particularly on social networking. For example, coming up with this website, even in the online. So what are some of the marketing channels should one look for when they want to start or begin a business?
Well, normally, we live in a world where technological advancements have really, taken charge in terms of what people are doing. And a lot of hotels, a lot of hospitality businesses are looking for ways of ensuring they capture the most out of, the audience in terms of advertising their business and everything they offer. And basically, I think at the moment, a lot of hotels are using, the social media handles and everything to ensure that at least they make their businesses public to other people. So one of the major ways of actually doing that is, of course, by using the social media. And of course, we also have other methods like advertisements through, probably the television or any other type of media. But I think the most common one at the moment is, the social media.
Yeah. And you will find out that there are some people who want just to begin, having a big hotel and everything, but they forget that you can, take pictures and, send, even do like home deliveries, yeah? So let's talk about that. If you look at bigger hotels, in terms of 5-star, 4-star hotels, hotels that are doing better, not just hotels, but also other fast food establishments that are doing better, like, say, for example, KFC or the Galitos, the Pizza Farm. Basically, they're doing better because they're not just focusing on having on-premise catering. They're focusing on having outside catering whereby you order food and then it's delivered at your doorstep. So basically, you don't just have to look at waiting for customers to come into your establishment, for them to have food. You need to be diverse in terms of thinking of ways of making sure that these customers, those ones who cannot come to this place, to your establishment, they're able to get food even at their workplaces, because a number of people are busy working and they can't spare 20 minutes to go, outside and eat. So we look at ways of, making sure you can be able to deliver food to these people, and of course, get something out of it, because it's all about dynamism. It's all about how far are you willing to go. So as long as you're in this particular industry, if you want to grow, you need to be dynamic. Because if you have a mentality where you just settled on one idea and that's it, that is the beginning of your failure in this business. You need to be very dynamic. You need to be accommodative of the fact that times are changing. Yeah, we are no longer living in the era where we had the baby boomers and all of those other people who really loved the old traditional ways, as long as as much as we still have that at the moment, but we have the millennials who are looking for better things. They'll come to your hotel, they want to look at the interior decor, how the hotel is set up. They want to see that probably they are paying a lot. They want to feel like whatever I'm paying is worth whatever I'm getting. Yes, the value.
Yeah, absolutely. So dynamism is very important.
Yeah. So let's shift gears a bit and talk money. So there are people, like my biggest fear is taking a loan to start up a business, because basically I don't know how the market is going to receive my products or even my services. So, but there's people who take 100 or depend on 100% loans. So is that right, and how should one go about, because people, these days there is a language that people are surviving on loans, so how can someone go about that?
I think I'll relate that to my particular industry, that is the hospitality industry. Of course, if you're willing to start a business and you don't have the startup capital, you can always look for ways of getting this capital, and getting loans is one of them. And of course, a lot of people, like you said, I concur with that, a lot of people are actually depending on loans to survive and do other things in life. But basically, I would say, if you're not really sure of whether or not your business is going to blossom given a certain period of time, because these particular loans give you time. Like, for example, they'll tell you, by this time, you need to have paid the entire amount. So you also need to like sit down and ask yourself, by this time, can I be in a position to like get back what I invested in the business and, pay back the loan without any issues? And of course, if the answer is no, then, just stay away from the loan, because failure to that, you may end up, getting your property or, your business can, be taken over because of not clearing the loan or not even paying a dime of the loan. So I would say you need to be very creative and critical in terms of taking these loans. You need to look at how and whether you will get this particular amount and pay it in the required time, because anything aside that, anything contrary to that will lead to, maybe your business being closed or even things being taken from you because of a lack of paying the loan.
Yeah. So as we talk about, money and loans and everything, for a business to survive, no matter how small or big it is, you need some capital injection so that, to survive in the industry. So it is so hard for a small entrepreneur to start saving, So how can one develop a culture where, they save money?
First of all, it's important for you to look at the future. I always tell myself, if I really want to get to a given destination, I'll start planning now. So saving is a matter of plan. Of course, we don't know what will happen tomorrow, but still, we just believe that we'll be there tomorrow, and of course, we want to face tomorrow, having been prepared in terms of finance, because I think that is the major preparation you need to have, especially when you're in this particular business industry. So basically, I think saving should be a culture that can be embraced by everyone, especially if you have a particular dream. If you feel like probably by the end of this year, I want to do this and that, and of course, you start saving from, say, January. So a culture that is built on belief and dreams, I think it's a doable culture. For example, if you have a dream, if you have, say, if you're planning to, like, say, get married or marry in December, you'll start saving for that. That is a belief, that is a dream. So I think cultures that are driven by beliefs and dreams are actually well met, especially because you have something that is driving you from inside, something that you really want to achieve at the end of a particular period. So we really need to have that, and especially have that inner drive of whatever it is you want to achieve, so that by the end of a given period, you look at where you come from, you look at how much you saved, and of course you'll feel proud of yourself, regardless of how little, because it doesn't matter whether you're saving 50 shillings a day, 100, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it is at least you're trying, which is the most important thing. So the first step is, you need to try, and of course, give yourself time. After the period you've given yourself, look at where you're coming from, analyze the entire amount you have, and of course, you can at least say that at least you've tried achieving something, which of course you did not initially plan to. So it's doable. It's a culture that is very doable.
But I believe that anyone can start saving. Sometimes we have these inspirations and this motivation thing, and you're like, okay, I will start saving. But how can one develop that discipline of maintaining the same culture?
Wow, life happens, and at times you have issues and you need money. You need to, like, sort the issues out, and probably you're thinking of areas, avenues of getting this money, and the only thing that comes to your mind is your savings. So I would say, if it's really important, that is the only time you should use your savings. But then if it's not, don't even think about your savings. In fact, your savings shouldn't even come to your mind as options of where you can get money. So you need to, like, be very specific, be very intentional, of course, about what exactly you want to achieve. Like, say, for example, you graduated last year, and of course, you are looking for finances to further your studies. You'll always remember at the back of your mind, I am doing this because I need to go to school maybe next year. I am doing this because I need to get enrolled. I'm doing this because I need to pay my fee. That is going to keep on ringing in your mind, and of course it will remind you that you need to stay focused. You need to stay relevant in terms of using your money, your savings, where it's really important for you to do so.
So can you use your like, people have different accounts that for instance, I have this bank account, and I've said that this one will be for my business only. But you get some emergency, maybe at home. Is it advisable to take loans from this saving account for your business, from your business?
I would say it's not advisable. Yeah, because these loans come haunting you later. And that is why I said just previously a minute ago that if it's really important for you to actually use these savings you have, that is the only time you should use. Yeah. And by important I mean a matter of life and death. That is my importance in this case.
Wow, emergencies.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it's no emergency, don't even consider it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so for example, if I own a hotel and I have some multiple, projects coming in, maybe I have a hotel and there are people who want me to offer them, some catering services. How do you manage completing all these tasks?
First of all, it's by having the right team at your disposal.
Yeah.
The hospitality the hospitality industry, cannot be run as a one-man show. It is impossible. You need to have people in different sections, people in departments who can ensure that even as you're doing this outside catering, the normal business in the hotel is running. That this particular catering that you're doing outside does not interfere at any particular point with the normal operations of the business. So that takes me back to, you need to have a team that is ready to actually work around the clock to ensure that you capitalize on every single opportunity in terms of catering, because catering has a lot of money, by the way. Outside catering, especially during the festive season, that is December, when a lot of people are graduating, others are getting married, and married and all that. So these particular functions, you get a number of people are actually, seeking catering services from hotels and, all these food establishments. And it is a very lucrative business, especially if you have the right people, because it's very tiresome. You need to be very ready, prepared to work long hours. In fact, absolutely long hours. And I'm talking 14 to 18 hours in a single day. So you need to be very ready, depending on, how big the catering is going to be. And of course, as long as you have the right team, you're good to go. Yeah,
and speaking of that, we cannot ignore the fact that we need, recruiting, attracting, and of course retaining, these staffs. You have to conduct some due diligence when you want to have these people on board. So what are some of the qualities, or how should one, choose these people to ensure that they have a successful business?
I'd say the most important 3 qualities. One is someone that is flexible. Someone that you'll call in the middle of the night and tell them, we have an order that should be ready by 6 a.m. I need you to be here by 5 a.m. Someone who is flexible, someone who can actually stop whatever they're doing, personal things, and come back, do what they have to do at work. Also, you need to have self-driven people. Someone that doesn't really need to be told, you need to do this, you need to do that. Someone who knows it is my responsibility, it is part of my job description to do this, and they do it, even without you, having to tell them each and every time, do this, do that. And also, very importantly, number 3, someone who is passionate about the job. Because once you have the passion, every other thing flows.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So what about the education bit part of it?
Of course, education is important, by the way. Education is important because, without the experience in terms of education and everything, the academic knowledge, you don't have the skills. So I would say, added to my 3 main points, you need to have the right skills, of course, and that is what takes us to education. So you need to be educated about everything in relation to the hospitality industry.
Yeah, but there is someone who would say, me, I only have the passion for like catering industry. These days there is YouTube where people can go and check out, these tutorials and everything. And, they say, like with this knowledge, I can be able to open up a business for my own. Is that advisable, or should one really must go back to the class and study some of the,
I think if it were possible to just get knowledge, via YouTube, we won't be here. Personally, I won't even be here. Why? Because I'd have opted to actually just sit at home, get my internet connected, and watch videos on YouTube all day long. But the reason we come to school, the reason we actually go to class to get this particular knowledge is because we are getting the experience from firsthand from people who've been in this industry for a couple of years. And these people are not just telling us what is written in the books. They are actually illustrating, using examples about what exactly happens in the industry. That particular YouTube video is only meant to ensure that it serves one particular purpose.
Yeah.
And this person is not really, the person is not really considering who is going to watch. So they don't really care whether you'll understand something or not. But in class, if you feel like you don't have a better understanding on a particular area, that is when you'll get more clarification.
Yeah.
So we have so many, in fact, advantages of being in class and, you know, watching through online videos and everything. The advantages of being in class are very many. They outweigh the advantages of, you know, just watching. But of course, if you can attend class, if you can, you know, be in school and, you know, do a course, whichever course, whether in hospitality or any other course, and of course add that knowledge by watching these other videos, you'll be a step ahead.
Yeah.
But we are saying the most important thing, the foundation is you must be in class.
Yeah.
So that as you watch these online videos on YouTube and everything, at least you'll be in a position to tell this person is telling the truth or this person is lying.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, these people are doing business.
Yeah,
you know, YouTube pays. As long as you're posting something and it's being watched, you get money. So the person doesn't really care whether you'll say they're being honest or they're saying the truth.
Yeah.
So basically, it is important for you to at least get that foundation, that basic knowledge from school. And of course, you can top that with you know, watching online videos on YouTube or any other site that educates people on different sectors of the, you know, economy.
Yeah, that's true. So we want to take a very short commercial break. So please, if you have any question for, you know, Egan, please send them in on our social media handles, that is at DigiTV Kenya on Facebook. And of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can be sampling them as we continue with the show. Don't go anywhere.
As God was creating the world, He made sure that everything looked good. Before He would create something else, He always looked at it and said, "It is good."
Career success is brought up by a training that goes beyond the academics, training that prepares you for the marketplace and as a job creator. And here at Uzuri Institute, we train you to be a job-ready professional. Over the years, we've done research to identify what works in the job market and what doesn't. And with our team of qualified trainers, we continue to produce graduates who are highly qualified. We have partnered with international and national exam bodies, and that guarantees employability and career progression. Prepare for the future by applying for our current intake. We offer courses in cosmetology, hair and beauty, fashion and interior design, tourism and travel management, electrical and electronic engineering, ICT and ICDL, hospitality management, and journalism and mass communication. You can visit our offices in Thika and Machakos. Thika main campus is located at Haile Selassie Road, opposite Thika School for the Visually Impaired. Machakos campus at KIE Building, 2nd floor along AIC Bomani Road. For more information, call Thika main campus at 0723 560-867 or 0700-455-435. Machakos campus at 0715-603-362 or 0781-908-822. Uzuri Institute, shaping careers, directing purpose.
Nakuta canvas ya hii size kwa duka ni 2,000 canvas peke yake. Siri ni passion.
Passion.
Yes, lazima ukue passionate. Yes. Ile passion yako usifanye tu juu ya pesa. Fanya kwanza juu unapenda ile kitu. Nishachora Uhuru Kenyatta, nishachora hata baba nishamchora. Raila. Don't give up, focus. Na tomorrow you will not be where you are today. Yes. Hii ndio hustle yangu, hii ndio inalipia bills, hii ndio kazi yangu, nikiamka nikilala, hii ndio kazi nafanya. Kwa mengi zaidi, kutana nami Robert Maina Mwago ndani ya DGTV. Makala ni Hustle Mtaani on Monday. Ujue mengi kuhusu hii kazi. Asante sana.
You should ask yourself, what is the purpose of this relationship that I am in?
Man was made naturally and spiritually productive by God for a purpose.
I have my blessing. I have my healing. I have my greatness. I have my power. And it's all inside of me in Christ.
Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Pitch with me, Alice Wanjera Mwangi, and of course with me in the studio I have a trainer, a hospitality trainer from Uzuri Institute. And before we went for a short commercial break, actually we were talking about how people these days, depend on the internet, to learn, not even, going to school or anything. So I was wondering, there are some people who would argue that they have talent, that this is their passion, they were born with it from, like the time they were born. And actually there are some people who have survived in the industry with that kind of mentality or, doing. So what would you say about that?
Yeah, it is. First of all, it's very much okay to have the talent. It's allowed.
Yeah.
But then you need to get the skills, the right professional skills from people who are, actually trained, people who have the right knowledge on matters, whatever it is, you're saying you have talent in.
Yeah.
And we cannot fully rely on talent, especially in this particular industry, because things keep on changing. You know, there's a lot of change, there's a lot of advancement, and hospitality industry is one of those particular industry. You cannot really predict and say next year this is what will happen.
Yeah,
it is quite impossible to actually predict, because a lot of change that happens in the hospitality industry is either unpredictable, and that is why we keep saying changes in this particular industry is very inevitable, and we'll keep on embracing change. So for you to like be in a position to embrace and accept that you need to be different, you have to have you need to have the right skills. And how do you get them? Going to class, of course, and getting trained in as much as you have the talent in you. So talent aside, you need to have the right skills in terms of what is required of you. At least you need to understand that this industry is very dynamic. This industry keeps on changing with time. So you need to also position yourself in a state where you will allow change to actually happen in terms of not just sticking to one particular idea, all in the name of you're talented in this particular area of the economy, or rather the hospitality industry.
So different countries has been enhancing their security measures because of increase of crime or terrorism, or even the pandemic that is going on, and it has really affected the hospitality industry. So what is the impact of all these things in the hospitality industry?
First of all, I'll take us back to a couple of years ago, I think 2013. The Westgate Mall was attacked by some terrorists back then, and in as much as it's a mall, it's a very good example of a hospitality facility. Why? Because it's offering products, and of course it has a lot of customers getting in and out. So anything that handles, any particular place that handles customer must have some hospitality in it. So of course, after that particular attack, which was very unfortunate, of course, a lot of hotels, a lot of firms, business entities, they decided to seek added security to ensure that the safety of the customers and of course the safety of the property is well ensured. So I think if you're not ready to actually allow for certain changes to take place, then you cannot survive in this industry. Like a very important change is that particular embracing better security measures, of course, and so many hotels are doing that. You don't just get in and out of a hotel without either being asked where you're going, unless if you're a customer. And of course, even if you're a customer, they must check to ensure that whatever you're bringing in does not harm either yourself or any other person around you. So security is becoming something of a very important thing, and of course a lot of sectors, not just the hospitality sector, are embracing better security measures.
Yes. Let's also talk about the pandemic also, the COVID-19, of course. There's so many measures also, coming along with that. So what are some of the effects of COVID-19 in the hospitality industry as per now? Because in 2020, as it was starting, there was like no one could come, to or even travel to other countries. But now some things have changed and things are slowly getting better. So what is the impact of COVID-19 as per now?
Well, I think I have positive and negative. I'll start with negative because there are many. But I'll just mention a few. First of all, a lot of people lost their jobs. Still, a lot of people don't have their jobs back because there is no security really. These particular firms, the hotels, the restaurants, they're trying to pick themselves up. They're trying to survive one day at a time. They're trying to make sure that either they pay the debt, because they have lots of debt, some of them. They're also trying to make sure they pay the overdue salaries of the former employees. So it's really difficult because of the pandemic and everything. Things were really unplanned. And of course, now that, for example, our country, we are nearing the electioneering period, the economy is really, so tight in terms of there are no jobs, there are no particular, prices, some of the taxes of items, are high. And of course, that is a very big disadvantage to the hotel because they're really trying to maintain, or rather to keep their best employees. And of course, it is not so easy, especially for hotels or restaurants that did not really plan well in terms of their finances. Also, another negative is that a lot of food establishments ended up being closed because they could not operate, they could not pay rent, they could not do one, two things that were very important for them to do so that they can remain functional. And closure of business, closure of a number of hotels, that is also a very big negative that was brought by this particular pandemic. Also, still on the negatives, I think there's a lot of that fear of you don't really want to go to a hotel or a restaurant because you feel like people are there and people are being cautious, especially just recently due to the Omicron variant. People are very cautious of where exactly they go. And the hotel is one place where a lot of people, meet, assemble together, either to have fun, dine, wine, and all that. And basically, that particular idea of I might get, or rather I might contract this virus if I go to this hotel, it's really setting, hotels and restaurants back. But of course, like you said, slowly but gradually we'll get there, I think. Eventually, I think we'll be where we used to be in terms of being one of the most, one of the contributing industries to, the GDP. And I'm pretty sure that however long it takes, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Yeah.
So the major positive is that at least hotels have learned that they need to be dynamic.
Yeah.
They need to embrace dynamism in terms of they need to allow themselves to, think about things they can do outside the hotel, not just inside. Because we had lots of, takeaways. Of course, people were not allowed to, eat from the establishment. So lots of takeaways, a lot of home deliveries and everything. So basically, it was some sort of a wake-up call, to hotels, especially, or restaurants that did not, in the past, embrace, home deliveries, fast food restaurants that did not really allow for people to, take food outside of the establishment and everything. So I think, in as much as it's brought a lot of negatives, the major positive I can say is at least it was a wake-up call, one that reminded us that anything is possible. And if you're not prepared, then you'll close.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so that is what I think the positive and negative of, the COVID-19 pandemic is to this particular industry.
Yeah, so campaigns are here and the election period is approaching, So what are some of the things that a hotel owner should be on the lookout for? Not, to be affected just like the, what we have talked about, the pandemic, the terrorism. How should one be prepared for the election period?
Well, first things first, I think this can be a very good period for some hotels. Why? Because a number of these politicians are going to hold their meetings there.
Yeah.
And you find that the banqueting departments of various hotels are, actually getting a lot of money out of these particular meetings. And like you've said, they need to be prepared not just for having these people or rather hosting these people. Yeah. They also need to be prepared for any eventualities in terms of any unrest. Of course, from where I'm seated, I think we are going to have a very peaceful election because I think we've learned, we've moved from the generation where we could be violent because of 1-2 results. And of course, I'm very optimistic of the fact that everything will be so smooth even after the August elections. And I particularly think that the hotel industry can really capitalize a lot from this particular electioneering period. Why? Because one, the meetings can be held at these particular hotels, and also they can be hosting different delegates of different parties in these hotels, because some delegates maybe live in Murang'a and they're coming for an event, a political event in Nairobi. They will need somewhere to sleep. They will need food. So this is where we come in. Yeah, so basically I think they can capitalize on every single opportunity they get, and of course they can make it fruitful at the end of the day. Yeah, so I was just wondering, do we have a body in Kenya that champions for the rights of the hospitality industry? Yeah, actually we have, like for example, the Tourism Regulatory Authority, the TRA, it normally deals with matters, the tourism, of course, the entire tourism sector, and also the hospitality, because tourism and hospitality are one and the same, actually. You cannot say one and forget about the other. They're very much related. And of course, it is a very important sector, or rather a very important authority in terms of making sure that whatever happens in a hotel is according to the set standards, and of course ensuring that things don't just happen in manners that may be going against the law, or probably doing things that are not supposed to be done.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very important authority in terms of regulating operations, regulating how things are done, and ensuring that, of course, everything is done in the smooth manner.
Yeah. So as a business owner, for instance, I own a hotel. So which or what is the point where I should reach and say confidently that, you know, I have done a great job in my, you know, business?
Well, at a point where you can retain customers, that is the only single point you can say, I've made it in my business.
Yeah.
But if you cannot retain customers, nah, you're still trying.
Oh, okay.
So customer retention is the most important thing. So we can talk about starting the business for you to get money, because of course we know the main reason why people start business is, you know, to make profits.
Yeah.
But then lots of time people tend to forget that you don't make this profit without customers. You know, so a lot of attention it needs to be, you know, centered around customer loyalty, around retaining your customers, because that is the only sure way of making this profit.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's important that as a business owner, you focus first of all on customer satisfaction, because that is what leads to customer loyalty. If I'm not satisfied, I cannot come back to your establishment.
Yeah,
I need to get the satisfaction. I need to feel like whatever I got from this place, I can get it next time and many other times after that.
Yes.
That is what brings loyalty.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So whether or not I'm drinking a cup of coffee, a cup of coffee daily, I need to feel like nothing changes about the quality. You know, it is very consistent, and that is what brings loyalty. Because today, for example, I'll come alone, and then I'll get a very good cup of coffee. Tomorrow I'll come with someone. The other day I'll come with 2 people. Probably the other day I will not come, but these people I brought will come with other people. That is what loyalty does to your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Referrals. Actually.
absolutely, yeah. Because by word of mouth, I'll tell people, hey, by there's a very good restaurant in town. It offers the best coffee. These people will also come, they will taste, and they will tell other people.
Yeah.
So in as much as we are looking for growth, we are looking for, you know, remaining in business, in operations throughout the year or whichever time period you have, it is important that you retain your customers. Just make sure that you have loyal customers.
Yeah.
Because when things get tough, it is your loyal customers that will be there to ensure that your business keeps on running.
Yeah, true. So we're coming to another segment of the show where we have a quick fire kind of segment. So I'll be asking you some questions, and maybe you can explain if you can, please. So the first question is, what 5 words will describe you as a trainer at Uzuri Institute?
Oh, 5 words. I'm a man of many words, but I'll stick to 5 words.
Yeah.
So honest, transparent, always, honest, transparent, dynamic, highly ethical.
Yeah, okay.
That should be 5, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the second question is, what would your previous employers say is your greatest strength? Explain.
I think they would say I'm someone that not only advocates for change, but I also take part in the change. You know, I see an issue, I see a problem. I don't just tell my employer this is a problem.
Yeah.
I take part in making sure that the problem is sorted. I think that is what they would say, I think. Yeah.
Do you have an instant where you solve a problem?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you give us an example?
A couple of months ago, I was, you know, head supervisor in a certain restaurant. And when I got there, a lot of things were not happening according to how they should happen.
Yeah.
You know, given my knowledge in the hospitality industry. So this particular employer sought my services because she thought she needed things to be done in the right way. And of course, she wanted someone knowledgeable on the same industry. So I made sure that in a span of 2 months at least, I don't want to go into so much details, but at least I made sure that things are running the way they should run. Because at the end of the day, they were making money, yes, it was a profitable business, but then a number of things were not happening according to how they should happen, you know, in this particular industry. So I would say I didn't really make so many changes because I was not there for long. I felt like I needed some other experience elsewhere.
Yeah.
But for the short stint I was there, you know, for like 4 months, I think, I really did something that I think it is still happening at the moment. I left some things, I left some regulations and rules that, you know, that were not being done, not being followed, not being adhered to. And of course, I'm very proud to say that even when I call back to, you know, check on them and find out how things are doing, they're still doing things I suggested them to do, and they're doing things in the right way.
Yeah.
So I'd say I'm a very big supporter of change, but most importantly, I take part in that particular change. I don't just say this is happening, it shouldn't happen, and then I'm like, I come out of it.
Yeah.
I'll be a part of that change, and I'll make sure that together with the management, of course, we, you know, see to it that things are happening the way they should happen.
Yes, and that is adding value actually to the company. And I love how you maintained a good relationship that you can call in even now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because my living wasn't really on a bad note.
Yeah.
I met with the manager, and she was a madam, and then I explained to her that I really need to get experience elsewhere. I appreciated her for, you know, the time she gave me there, and of course, she was not so happy that I wanted to leave, of course, but at least she understood that I needed to get experience elsewhere.
Okay, so what type of people do you not work well with?
Oof, what type of people do I not work well with?
Yes.
I think growing up, I've really find it difficult to work with people who don't speak out. You know, for example, you have an issue with me, we're working together, we're colleagues, and then you don't tell me that, you know, you did something, how you're doing things is not supposed to be that way. So I feel like I find it really difficult to work with people who don't, you know, speak out, especially when it comes to anything about me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I believe if you want to work well with people, you need to like communicate.
Yeah.
You need to talk about things that concern you, things that matter about whatever it is you're doing. And you cannot sort out anything with these people, you cannot work out things in the for the betterment of an organization if you don't talk.
Yeah, sure. So the other question is, if you are a hotel owner, tell me of a scenario where you had to fire your best friend, and what would be that reason?
The only scenario where I'd fire my best friend is when he or she is, you know, not ethical.
Yeah.
I think I value ethics a lot. A certain professor actually taught me ethics in school, in campus, and from his illustrations and explanations in class, I felt like ethics is very important, especially when you're working in an organization. And whether or not people are your friends, if they're not ethical, it is contagious.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it spreads to people, and that is how an entire organization ends up, you know, breaking down because of just one person who could not be ethical. And then, of course, they continued doing wrong things. Of course, they know it's wrong, but they do it over and over again, repeatedly. No action is taken on them. And then, of course, other people see that, yeah, fine, it's okay to do that. I'll also do the same. So at the end of the day, it's a very bad habit. And of course, it can lead to closure of business. And I think if my best friend is not ethical, I wouldn't want to work with them. Yeah.
All right, so which is your huge risk in terms of investing into a business?
Huge risk.
The hugest risk you've ever taken?
So far? Well, I don't really think I've taken a very huge risk at the moment.
Yeah.
Probably in future I will, but at the moment, nope.
All right.
No.
So that was the quickfire segment, and I wish we had something like here on the table. So if you fail to answer a question, then you take something bitter, you know, to make it even more interesting, but probably next time that is what we shall be doing here. So as we get to wind up because of time, I would love you to advise, you know, those people who are out there who want to get maybe into the hospitality industry, those one who even say they only depend on YouTube, you know, to learn some of things. Tell them the importance of education, and of course, you being a trainer at Uzuri Institute, what is some of the reason or one unique reason should they join Uzuri Institute in the Department of Hospitality?
Nice. So first of all, I'll start by, you know, giving a brief story. Before I did hospitality myself, I looked at, is it a marketable course, you know? Because way then, people were, you know, always going for courses, you know, they'd have, you know, pictured giving them a job after graduation and everything. So personally, I wasn't any different. So I simply researched online how marketable hospitality is. And of course, I read a lot of articles concerning the same. But at the end of the day, I ended up doing hospitality because it is something I love. You know, I feel like in whatever things I do, whether in a hotel or in an institute like this, for example, Uzuri Institute, I feel like as long as you are talking to someone, like for example, students are my customers, you know, and I must make sure they're satisfied. That is hospitality. So anything to do with a customer must bring the aspect of hospitality. So I would advise anyone out there, anyone that is probably confused about what to do, anyone that wants to actually further their studies and of course do either a diploma or a certificate or even a degree in hospitality management, that is the right choice to do, to make. So don't even think twice about it, just get to, you know, get to class, do whatever it is you want to do, and of course don't focus so much on online you know, segments like for example YouTube and everything, because it's fine for you to have passion in cooking, for example, because cooking is part of hospitality. But then if you just incline your attention on watching, you know, YouTube clips on cooking, you know, different chefs, some different renowned chefs, that is not enough. Why? Because these people don't really consider that someone is a beginner. Their major ideas are based on someone has already learned the basics of cooking, of course, and they're just advancing on these particular basics. So like for example, a chef like Gordon Ramsay does not really consider whether you know how to hold a knife or not. They will hold their knives and then they will, you know, chop whatever it is they have to chop in a very quick manner. So you'll be so confused. You'll be like, how does it do that? So you need to like get the basics. You need to get the foundation from school, get to class, get to a practical session, and of course that is what we offer at Uzuri. So personally, being a trainer, being a lecturer, you know, at Uzuri Institute is something that I can say I'm living my dream. I'm doing what I love, and I'm impacting lives. I'm sharing knowledge, which is the most important thing, and we take practicals very, you know, seriously. So because we believe catering or rather the hospitality industry is not just a theoretical bit. You need to get the practical skills because that is what will give you an added advantage over other people elsewhere. So you're free, whether you're in Thika or anywhere around Thika, you're free, of course, to join us at Uzuri Institute. And you can always choose hospitality management any time of the day. Why? Because it's a guarantee course. It is not important. It is not a must for you to get employed. You can you can actually create employment yourself. Because lots of people are doing that. As long as you have the knowledge, as long as you understand the industry, you can create employment. So it's a very flexible course. It's a very dynamic course. A sure course that at the end of your study, you're sure to get a job, either get a job or create one.
So that was Igans, you know, a trainer at Uzuri Institute, and there he has, you know, given you all the updates about Uzuri Institute. So one of their, you know, strength is, you know, the practical bit of it. So if you want to get, you know, or to come to apply for a course, you can, you know, visit them at their institution, and maybe someone will guide you more about, you know, how you can go about that. So thank you so much for joining us today on the Entrepreneur Pitch right here on a Money Monday. As I said earlier, next after this, we're going to watch some Hustle Mtaani, so don't be in a haste to leave. But for now, have a good time. Till next Monday, goodbye.